Hey, once again, we are live. And I want to say before I get started, shout out to my husband, Cash. He was one of our guests, and his birthday was yesterday. So happy birthday. He's turned 18. Yes, I hope I
Yeah,
said that right. We're all 18, right? Because last week was your 18th birthday as well.
right.
Um, I wanted to take a spin. Um, and change a little bit of the momentum on today's topic. I wanted to talk to the audience about something that's a little personal to me, and that's talking about coronavirus. It's interesting because the very first podcast that we were both going to have and introduce to the world, we were going to talk about coronavirus, just because, excuse me, COVID-19, just because of the fact that it was just the hottest topic, but at the same time, there were some things that were us more pressing, or maybe equally pressing, depending on what perspective we're looking at. Um, it's affected me personally, coronavirus, because I actually am positive for it here in Florida. And I don't know for the listeners in Orlando or wherever you're listening from, every time I would start the podcast, I'm like, hey, if I get my little cough going, pardon me. Or I would say, hey, I'm drained. Or I would have some little comment. But that was me just trying to kind of, you know, not put it out there, but put it out there. I didn't have official word yet. So that's what we're going to talk about today, about health. Very, very important, because if you don't have it, who cares how much money you have? Before I jump into anything and start talking anything, Ty, you have anything to say to the audience?
I just want to say welcome. Sorry. I think today is like just a draining day in general. So I'm glad we're kind of like slowing it down and doing more of a check-in. It's been a lot going on. But again, I just want to say hello to our listeners, our viewers. Thank you again for coming to another special of Mothers Unfiltered.
Yeah. With that being said, just to talk about COVID 19, COVID 19 it doesn't discriminate, doesn't care how much money you have in your pocket, it doesn't care if you're short, tall, man, woman, child, it can affect anybody. I was thinking to myself, like, how do I talk to the audience? How do I tell people my own personal experience dealing with this virus? Some people say disease, whatever terminology you want to, peg it. And it's interesting because anybody who personally knows me knows that I am like this whole zombie fanatic. Like, I'm like, bring on the zombies. I am ready. I am prepared. I'm always talking about natural catastrophes, what to do. How do you prepare food, health, weapons, all that stuff. And of course, if you guys ever tuned in and you know my brother, he's one of those militant type of people too. So we've always planned for the emergency. And then all of a sudden, I get a little tickle in my throat. That's nothing. How many people listening, how many people know somebody who say, "Ooh, what's in my throat?"
Right,
That's
right.
nothing. It's a tickle. You could have ate something and went down the wrong pipe. I got sick right after my birthday. I was supposed to go hang out, not per se outside, but have somebody come over and just kind of have some drinks and everything. And it just started with a tickle in the throat and a cough that was dry, like like you're clearing your throat, but nothing's there. And that was it. And then all of a sudden, the next day, my body aches. I have body aches. I'm like, okay. Then the headaches. Now, for me, you can have body aches because you're just tired, you don't work.
Right. We getting old. Getting
Yes, yes,
old,
ma'am.
right?
And then also, I always kind of get headaches. I've kind of got headaches all my life, migraines and different things. So this is nothing out of the norm. I use my mask. I have all different variations of the mask, the N95s, the regular, surgical masks, all different types. Hand sanitizers in all different parts of my house. So just in case you need to pump real quick, I got that going on. I had everything. And then I pop up and I'm sick. And I know when I was talking to you, Ty, I'm just letting you know, like, man, this is not right.
Right.
This is not the same feeling as the flu. I've had the flu. I think anybody who's listening has had the flu before. And this feeling here, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
What's the difference, like,
So
between you and what you've been going through?
So imagine the flu. The flu is maybe the chills with a fever, achy body, headaches, cough, the typical stuff we're used to. This is every single symptom known to man all at once. So you have the cough, you have the chills, you have the headache, you have the stomach bug, you have the pain in your chest, you have, my God, back pain. I mean, it's really weird because when you think of somebody, maybe you know somebody personally who has lupus. When I'm talking about fatigue, I'm talking about literally I had to pull over to the side of the road and tell my daughter, please drive, because I can't drive. I'm going to die. And every day I almost died. I want to say that every day I've had a feeling that I was just going to die. And I was just like, okay, somebody call Jesus, call Buddha, call somebody, please, Lord, help me. This is it. Especially, and I started panicking when I couldn't breathe. Because it's like
that come out of nowhere? Was it gradual or?
It came out of nowhere. And that's the thing. A lot of times when I would talk to family, just kind of checking in on me, they're like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. Just got a little headache. That's it. And then all of a sudden, an hour later, I'm dying. I'm on the floor. I'm shaking. I'm shivering. It's a constant thing. And then that's the thing that I'm so worried about, because you start messing with your breathing and those things. Now I got to go to the hospital. Who knows what's going to happen? Can this be the turning point? This made me do a lot of research about this virus, because you hear a lot of myths. I want to put it out there, Black America, that we don't care how dark you are or how light you are, you can get coronavirus. I heard rumors and myths like, oh, if you got melanin in your skin, if you're a certain color. No. Actually, African Americans get it at a higher rate than our counterparts, because we have underlying conditions. Some of us
have better access to healthcare, ... But we said we wouldn't get into that.
Yes, but with that being said, though, it kind of all comes into play, right?
Right.
Not saying me, I could say when it comes to my eating habits, I am a junk food eater, but within this, it's like, man, I regret ever eating bad, because I'm like, all these underlying conditions, oh my God, is this going to be it? I'm very thankful for all the friends and family that I had that kind of checked in on me just to say, hey, are you alive? Are you okay? At this very, very moment talking to you, I can say that my stomach is always nauseous. So I have a feeling that I'm hungry. And then as soon as I eat it, I'm like, why did I eat? I lost weight. Even though I wanted to lose weight, you don't want to lose weight on bad terms. The doctor told me over the phone, said there was no way of you not spreading it through your house. Because as soon as you get that little tickle in your throat, you're putting it to the side as if it's anything. Like I said, a spicy burrito.
It could be anything, dust, dirt, something that if you have animals, like I know you have a cat, it could be cat hair that could have been. So it's not like you would have known.
And I'm not going to get too much. I'm not going to get too much into names. I always say I'm not going to do name dropping, but I got this because of negligence, not on my part, because of someone else. Someone else deliberately, they knew what they had. And that's the bad thing, because right now you could talk to somebody, you can be around somebody and someone knowing what they have and they're symptomatic and they spread something to you. Your whole life can change. I haven't been able to go back to work. My house, my kids are dealing with it. My husband is dealing with it.
So
go ahead.
Does everyone in the family have the same symptoms? Because what's the difference between each.
Yeah. So,
Like,
now here's the thing, and I'm on live camera, and this information will be saved going on and on. Let something happen to my 3-year-old. I'm putting it out there right now. Let something
no.
happen. You're gonna be like, is that a kid on the news?
Like, no.
If anybody knows me, I'm very, very protective of my baby. Well, all my kids. But so the first thing that happened before I even got the little tickle in the throat, my daughter came up with a fever of 104. And as a toddler, you're looking at this, but mind you, they put stuff in their mouths. They're always exposed to all types of different things. So who knows, but I monitor it 2 days. She's good. Currently, she has like a little dry cough, but like I said, you could say, well, that's all little babies. But that's it. My daughter, she had a cough for a long time and cough and fatigue. And that was all she had. And then headaches. And the headaches were very weird. It was like somebody punched you in your head. Not that you had a headache, but like somebody just hauled off and just kind of hit you. And I'm like, what in the world? My son, I want to say he bounced back the quickest. One day, I would say two, because mothers are always monitoring their children.
Right.
2 days, he said he had an achy body, and the food didn't taste the same. Ever since then, he's been fine. My mother, and she is older than everyone in the house, and that's my another main concern, because you hear anybody older, it's so dangerous. She just had, in my opinion, the smells. She's like, oh, I smell. I'm like, there's no smell here. But then again, here's the kicker though. My mom's been doing stuff like that since I was a kid. She's like, do you smell the gas? And you're like, Mom, the gas ain't on, So I mean, I'm crossing my fingers saying that's just my mom being my mom, always just smelling something. Are the neighbors making some stinky food? But she hasn't had anything that you're like, hey, this, and which is a blessing. Because my mother does have underlying other health conditions, that she's recovering from. And my husband, he's had a lot of symptoms. I want to say I was the worst, and then he's right behind me. The chills, the sweats, the headaches. I didn't know, and maybe because, he's a guy, he didn't really say too much, but he was coming to me like, I'm glad I could taste my food again. He couldn't taste the food the same way. And it's really weird because that makes you not even want the food.
Right.
But no, it's been very, very hard because this is all new to everyone. This is a new thing. They don't have set facts. They have some type of information, but not all.
They've had contradicting information as well.
Exactly.
I mean, for me, some things should be common sense. I do see two people, Liz and Janet said hello. Hey.
Hi, everybody.
And whoever else is that's chimed in. But to me, some things are common sense. Okay, so if we know it's a 2-week incubation period, right? Mm-hmm. So we know this much, give or take.
Well, that's not even a 2 week.
Right, give or take, right? And we know it's a virus, so we know how viruses spread. So again, you have people that are asymptomatic, or you have people that may not spike a fever. So if I'm one of the ones that becomes sick and I don't have a fever, I just have, a headache and, some coughing or whatever other symptoms I may get. Mm-hmm. And then you go into a place and they say, okay, well, I'm going to take your temperature. You don't have a fever. That's fine. Again, to me, that makes absolutely no sense, because you have folks that will take medicine to mask it before they have to go somewhere to get their temperature taken. And again, they may not test as having a fever because that may not be one of their symptoms. Yeah. So why are we putting things in place that are not even 25, to me, I'll say 50% guaranteed on making sure we
to be honest with you, just to be honest with you, we have to do something. We have to do something because it's so real. And the scary part about this whole thing is because this virus is DNA based. And that's the scariest thing because that's what I told you, that I had every single type of symptom. And also I wanted to point out that is another reason I found out why if someone passes away and let's just say you had heart problems and you went into the hospital because you had heart problems, but you also had coronavirus, they're labeling it you passed away due to coronavirus or these other complications. And the reason why they're doing this because this coronavirus is like a mimic. It copies every single thing that you have going on. And it's like, boom, here I am. So like I said,
like exacerbate it. It
yes. So it's kind of, like I said, and the craziest thing. So I told you my chest was hurting. So literally it felt like my heart was being squeezed. Okay, this is nervous. This is scary. I took some vitamin E my mother gave me. The next day, I have chest pain again, but it's not my heart being squeezed. It's as if it's sore, like someone just punched me, maybe a horse, because that's how, and it was sore to the touch. So right now, it's not sore as much, but my back area. So somebody just like kind of banged you. I mean, but at the same time, let's just say I didn't have anything. You would have felt like, ooh, maybe I was roughhousing with the kids and they punched me real hard. It just masks itself as these other ailments. And you're like, well, what the hell? What is going on? I mean, the amount of weight everyone in the house has lost was interesting as well. I'm like, damn, Cash, you done lost what? Good, you lost weight for everybody, but at the same time, you don't want to do it on that. I mean, to read that the virus goes straight through your body. And I had no idea. It affects your nervous system, your neurological stuff. That's why your taste buds and your senses are all off. Like, am I smelling this? What's going on? Then it affects your throat and your respiratory. And it just kind of just travels down the GI tract, your bones. And it's like, wow. So, I mean, for me, I understand why you hear all these different, well, wait a second, you come in the hospital with one thing and now it's supposed to be corona.
Right.
It's interesting. I had wrote this down and I have to read this just because I kind of couldn't remember all this, but Florida, as of today, as of 4 hours ago, there are now 200,111 COVID-19 cases in the state.
Confirmed. That's just confirmed, right?
And then 3,731 coronavirus related deaths in the state. And my whole thing is, what is the magic number that we have to have in order for the governor to say we're shutting this shit down? We have to do something.
Obviously, the people that have been confirmed as being tested as positive, that's not the magic number. Unfortunately, when we're dealing with the gatekeepers, we know it's not about human life. It's about financial gain. Exactly. But you're taking a toll on your people, period. This is a very bad virus. You have people that don't fully believe in it. You have people that are fighting for their right to be able not to wear a mask. I had someone invite me out for dinner and drinks the other night, and I'm like, listen, I'm not going. And they're like, well, it's outside, but I don't trust outside yet. And I'm trying to explain to them about the numbers in Orange County, and they're like, just for some data, I've been here for a couple of weeks and I'm fine. I said, well, here's the issue. We tend to forget it's not about this is a public health issue. I happen to live, with people who have other underlying, issues when it comes to their health. Yeah. So if I get something and I bring it home, it's going to be a problem. It's not about me. It's not just about me or you. It's public health.
Let me ask you this question, and this is going to touch a little bit of people's nerves, because at the end of the day, when it comes to health, people have mixed feelings about it in a general sense. The flu. So let's just say right now there's 100,000 different strands of the flu.
Right.
But now they're giving out the flu shot, strand number 9,000. You know, we're giving out strand 9,000, the flu shot. Come on, get it. We're giving it out free. Do you go ahead and get those? Do you get your flu shot or no?
Do I personally get it? No, because I don't trust anything that the government tries to force you to take. So no, I stopped getting it.
So here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. I never, ever, unless, I mean, and in the military, they give you stuff, you don't even know what you're taking. If you just happen to find out, you just happen to find out. So let's exclude the time that I was in the military. From the time that I got out to currently, I've never taken the flu shot because I was like, wait a second, for a couple of reasons. If you give me the strain virus number 9,000, but there's all these other viruses.
How do you know you're treating that exactly?
And then I would say, I would say, what is in the actual shot that you're giving me? Because I actually met people, I know people personally that they have people that died from the flu. And the flu we get since we were babies, right?
Right.
But now that I have experienced COVID-19, I'm experiencing still currently, I'm not cured. I feel much better, but I'm not over it. I question if someone say, here, I had the magic, pill over here, would I take it? Because I would not wish my worst enemy to have this. That's how bad I felt.
That's interesting. Wow. So there would be a debate on your part to possibly take it because of what you went through.
I would not wish my enemy to have this disease or virus or whatever terminology you want to use.
And you want to know, the thing is, like, it's not anyone's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you don't know something, you don't know it. They're trying to figure it out. So it's not a blame game, right?
Well, only if a person knew that they had it and gave it to you. Oh, okay.
Well, I'm talking about in a bigger picture.
I just want to throw it out there.
I know what you.
Don't let me take these glasses off.
I know what you're talking about. But obviously not the individual person, but they're grabbing for straws.
Mm-hmm.
The virus they are trying to follow, it's outbeating everyone. Here's where I have an issue.
Mm-hmm.
As the powers that be, the folks that carry the information that we're supposed to gain our resources from, we're supposed to trust in you. Mm-hmm. This is who you say you are. If you don't know, let me know you don't know. Mm-hmm. Do not feed me information that is false and short-lived and then have to go back and retract it. And that's what one of the many things that I'm having an issue with. Mm-hmm. First, it was kids couldn't get it. Ooh, kids got some form of it. Then they said animals couldn't get it. However, we knew before that statement came out that there had been animals that had gotten it. Then they said it doesn't survive on surfaces. It's a virus. It's going to survive on surfaces. That's common sense, right?
Yes.
Again, there were so many bullet points that they put out time after time. It wasn't just one time. This has been throughout the whole trial period. Just say you don't know, so the community at large can be better prepared and
let me talk about preparation. So once again, I started this podcast off by saying I am the zombie queen. They're coming. I got the bullet for it. Headshots, 1 kill. I'm on it. So now you have something and you have no idea how to prepare. They tell you to wash your hands. They tell you this. So I found out, of course, me having it, I need to know all the little intricate details, that the virus spreads by respiratory droplets. So when someone coughs, when they sneeze, when they talk to you, and that's what happened to me, a simple conversation, now I got it. So I was in my office, minding my business. My husband told me not to come in that day. It was my last day of work or where I was working.
Don't listen.
And I didn't listen. And I'm in the office, and this girl she was showing her baby off to people. And so she picks up her baby and comes into the office. And I'm like, wait, back up. Like before she even says, cute little booties and these things, I'm like, back up. You don't know what I have. That's a brand new baby. She's like, girl, I don't have nothing. She kind of did one of those, and then she backed up. And then for me, everybody who knows me knows I'm a germaphobe. So she's backing up and I'm spraying at the same time. Like, okay. But at the same time, though, I know I see what Cash, but not listening as usual.
Yup. Hey, Tiani. Hey, Danielle.
Cash is not listening as usual. No, so with in saying that, though, she backs up, I spray, but come to find out, she knew she had it. So just by a simple conversation, and
right.
when you talk, and when we sweat, and we perspire, and go to the gyms and different things, all this air and the droplets are coming from our body. So here's the thing: in my house, before this whole thing had took place, I stocked up on food, stocked up on toilet paper. I wasn't the one that went crazy snatching it from people, but I had my share of toilet paper. And guess what, guys? You need it. Everybody who didn't know why people were going crazy, believe me, when your ass is on fire, you need that toilet paper. You need the toilet paper. So anyway, moving right along, I had all types of stuff like the zinc, the elderberry, the gummies for apple cider vinegar. My mother, I told her, please send me some of your Reiki, because she does Reiki. If nobody knows what that is, like a universal healing for people who don't know. I call my sister. She's a pastor's wife. Send Jesus Christ prayers. Anybody that can touch me, touch my family.
For real.
But how do you prepare? How do you get rid of this?
Here's the thing. Okay, so let's go back to one of the statements you made regarding like the flu. When people like, oh, we had the Spanish flu, we had this flu, and we had this SARS. Is that what it was? SARS. Okay.
H1N1.
Right. However, let's remember that they were able to track information, build data, figure it out. So they were able to contain it and then put a halt to it, right? Yeah. Until it's its seasonal time to come back out again. Yeah. With this, we are still learning. So that's what the issue is. We understand that, yeah, other folks there may have been a larger number of folks that passed from other viruses, but this virus, we still have not been able to understand. We don't know how to talk to it. We don't know how to do anything with it. Or if we do, they're not showing us at all. I mean, if my dad says I overthink things, right? If you guys know me, I had a husband who was very ill. He had sickle cell. So as I'm watching different processes of him becoming sick, you become a germaphobe. So I watch the way of transmission and contamination, right? So if we know that things are airborne, it's surface based, it stays for so long. So I think like this. Okay, so you go to the grocery store. Somebody coughs, sneezes on the same toilet paper that you need. You're not sick at this time. Mm-hmm. You go there, you pick it up. Now you've touched the surface. Now you're contaminated. Mm-hmm. By the time you get to your car, now you done picked it up. It's all over. Again, it's not doing anything but spreading. Even when you get to your car, we don't have faucets in our car. We have antibacterial, right? The sanitizer. Mm-hmm. So you use that. It's still a known fact that that's not even 100%. So even by the time we get it in the house, most people, when they bring their groceries in the house, either it's on the floor, they set it on the, countertop. Now you didn't transferred it there. Mind you, you wash your hands. Okay, so now I'm good. I washed my hands, unpacked everything. But now you have to go back and open up the toilet paper that you just got, recontaminate yourself, your home, you're not thinking about it. Mm-hmm. It's that easy. So
No, it is. And it is that easy. And before we get to the comments, I just wanted to say, literally, and my sister mentioned, she's like, the key, I know you were prepared. When I tell you the groceries, so here's the thing. I would come into the store with the gloves and the mask. Shopping, 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 boom, boom, boom. Now I got to pay for my item. I take my one glove, take it off, take my credit card or whatever little debit, put it in. Then with the other hand, I'm doop, 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 put
right.
codes in. Then I take that debit card and I put it in my back pocket because I don't want to put it back into,
right.
When I tell you I have the background in reference to,
right, you, not everyone else, and that's what's scary. That's why it's like it's a public health issue. We keep saying, I do this, yeah, you do it, but the rest of the world is not. So we have, Liz said, I've always understood anytime that you get something for free, it's because you are the product. Yes, count me out. Whatever makeshift concoctions that they are rushing to the market as a cure vaccine. Absolutely. And Tiani states, I would like to know how it picks and chooses from state to state.
Well, going to what Liz said real quick, I have to say this. Not until, once again, I am a firm believer. Don't give me shit. I don't know who made what, and especially having that background from the military and they just shooting you with whatever. But at the same time, not until you're actually sitting on your ass and you're like, oh shit, I'm actually getting rushed to the hospital. I can't breathe. And you're give me anything. When you're literally can't breathe, and the albuterol and the different concoctions that they gave you, doctor gave me a little albuterol and these different things are not working. You please give me anything because I'm about to die. So that's the mindset and the perception. So right now, when you're kind of chilling and feeling good, yeah, I ain't taking that. I'm taking that. That's what it is.
Right. And
I don't want to go to the hospital and die.
And for Tiani, asking the question about picking and choosing from state to state, now we could look at New York versus Florida. So what was the difference between Arizona, Texas, Florida?
So one thing that we do understand, everybody can say this, the more rural the area, that countryside living, the less you would find cases because they're spread out. So we understood that already. The more populated, of course, and it's spreading like wildfire. I remember New York, and I say this, I remember when New York used to be the epicenter. Not anymore. You know, I can say that I wish Governor Cuomo was the governor down here, but he's not. And I'm originally from New York, so I'm very envious. But with that being said, I think even though he didn't want to shut his economy down and he knew there would be a price to pay, he chose people over the money. And like I said, at the end of the day, there were a lot of people who do not like Cuomo. They're typing in, I can't stand them. Wait till we vote you out. My businesses are suffering and
But Cuomo was very clear from the beginning, and that's what it is. The states that, like, for now, that have reopened early, obviously those are the states that are getting hit again. Cuomo was like, I don't care what y'all say. Screw you. You don't like it. Period, point blank. You don't care about me, but I care about me. Bottom line. Cuomo pulled a straight New Yorker. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to survive. You're either gonna like it and roll with me, or you're not gonna like it and you're still gonna do what I told you to do.
Well, and I also feel that unfortunately America has this cowboy type of mentality. Of course, there's always the individuals who don't think that way, but we are bounced back. We thrive for anything. United States is the only place that say, I know there's a pandemic, but we're shutting this shit back open. We're opening shit back up. Right. And we're going to put it to the side. You're like, well, wait a second. I know we were just locked down for the last 2-3 months. And then all of a sudden everything's open back again, as if everybody forgot that we were out there suffering. And actually, and I noticed there was a paradigm shift. The more we started hearing African Americans and Latinos were getting it, oh, we got to hurry up and start opening up stuff. And when they were opening it, they were opening up the hair stores, the nail stores, the liquor stores, all these things that everybody, the Nike store, really, Like people were outside waiting. I know we love our sneakers, but here's the thing: while they were opening up businesses, they were not opening up the courthouse. They were not opening up certain doctor offices and plastic surgeries and these things. And it's funny because here in Florida, even though they were opening up everything, as soon as lawyers and judges started getting it, they shut that shit right back down.
Of course.
So I was like, oh,
exactly. But again, you see what they were targeting. This is why it's like really up to us as people to really get our stuff together. If somebody could dangle a pair of Nike sneakers in front of you during a quarantine and a pandemic, and that's what you find is luxurious versus your health, there's an issue. We need to really sit down and have a discussion. Like you look at the world and you look at how we operate, and there is a sickness. It's a sickness, and it's bizarre. People are sick and people are dying. This is not something that's isolated to color, creed, religion, city, state. This is all over. And we are debating whether we should have the right to or not to wear a mask. We are debating.
That's that cowboy mentality again, because at the end of the day, take it like that John Wayne, like, you know, I'm a leader. Nothing could get past me. You know, that's for the weak people over there. You know, if you happen to get sick, oh well, Ty. I'm sorry. You know, right. You seem like a nice person, but oh well, life will still go on. And it's interesting because you literally have people debating and fighting over should you wear a mask and should you not wear a mask. It's the same concept as should you use protection when having sex or should you not use protection when having sex. Wake the fuck up, people. Like, I just don't understand. Put a fucking condom on. It doesn't make sense. I understand it feels so good. Okay. But at the end of the day, do you truly know what he has? Do you truly know what he has? Why take that chance? Make sense.
Do you see a lot more or a lot less people wearing masks in Florida this time around versus the first time? Oh, no.
I don't. So here's the thing. I've lived. So, you know, of course, in the military, you travel in different places. So my home, New York, always born and raised. But, you know, when I had to get out, my sister, she was in search of me, and I was like, hey, let me get away. I moved to Florida. Florida is the most backwards place I've ever been in. Now, granted, great weather, family orientated, you know, with all the, you know, the whistles and bells and whistles and these things. But no, you walk into one store and no one has a mask on, and you know, and then you go into some places. Now, the mayor, the African American mayor, Mayor Demings, he put out there that it's mandatory that people have to wear masks. But there are the section of people who are like, well, I won't shop here again. Is my God right? You know, my freedom. Right. You know, wear a mask. Now, granted, there are some people that because they have the asthma, because they have certain things, they cannot wear masks. I understand that. But there are things that you can do to eliminate being around people. Maybe send somebody else to the store. Maybe do this. But, you know, people still got to go out. I still want to shop and eat. Sit your ass down somewhere. Yeah. Sit down. Like, I honestly don't understand. Why the person who invited you for drinks and food, who is this person?
We gonna do.
No, we don't name drop.
But here's the thing. It was up to me to decide not to go. I'm not at this point in my life. I'm not one to be pressured. You are look. I am very thin. You dangle a steak in front of me. I'm hungry, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go jump off a.
But that's my thing. Like, why are you so eager to die? And at the end of the day, even if you don't have anything, because that's the scary thing about this disease is people are asymptomatic. Why would you want to expose other people? You not think about people?
Okay, see, that's okay. So the question was, why are you so eager to die? However, playing devil's advocate, maybe it's why are they so eager to live? That's probably what they see on their side and why they're advocating. Again, this is me playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying that's my view, but we have to flip it as well. I don't have anything. I'm not eager to die. I'm not going to get anything. And maybe a lot of folks will go through this whole thing and never
but
get
here's the thing, and let's talk about people who are very faith driven, right? So let's just say this: that, God is on my side. God walks with me. He's holding my hand as I cross the street. But at the same time, regardless of what your actual belief system is, you got to use common sense. Just because you feel that God is holding your hand, does God say don't look right and left when you cross the street so you can get hit by a car?
Right.
You got to be able to use common sense with this faith that you have. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why would you deliberately expose your children? Now, here's the kick with children. Little kids, my daughter's age, who's 3, the younger ones, they're getting something similar to the kamikaze disease. It's a Japanese disease. It's where you get the rashes and the big tongues, little fever, mild, but it starts off with a rash. I promise you, audience out there, let something happen to my daughter, you will see me in jail.
No. No.
Police are listening.
No.
I'm gonna call you on the phone, like, listen, come get my ass, because I'm coming for the bitch who gave me this shit.
I'll be like, oh.
I mean, because it's scary. It's scary because you don't know about this thing, and then now kids are getting this warped form of disease, and now they're suffering. My mother was telling me about a friend, her granddaughter, she lost all her hair. And I'm glad she recovered, but at that age, they don't know how to deal with pain. They don't know how to express themselves. They can't tell you, hey, this hurts and this hurts, And at the same time, it's like I have 2 other kids. When my daughter says, Mommy, my chest hurts, I'm like, wait, what? Your chest hurts? I was just over here dying, but as soon as my daughter says she's not feeling good, I'm putting myself to the side. I can't even worry about myself right now, and it's hard because, if my husband, if he's sick or whatever, my God, I can't, what would I do if something happens to my husband? So I can't worry about me being sick anymore. It's everybody else. I don't have time to.
My question, and obviously, where I'm not expecting an answer, but like just thinking about it. Okay, so if you have asymptomatic people, so these are folks that have it and never show any signs or symptoms, just walk around. They could walk around for the rest of their life, right? Not right, but just they could walk around for a long period of time, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you cure something? How do you contain it if these people are asymptomatic, unless you force every person to become vaccinated with something, because you never stop it. It's always ongoing.
It's a good question that you asked. It's interesting because I asked the person who said that they believe they believe that they had coronavirus. They never got tested, but every symptom that I said that I had, they had it as well. But this was before the lockdown. And they said that it didn't stop in 14 days, like automatic on the 14th day you're free. It was like more of a 21, 26 day time frame. With that being said, I said, well, why don't you go get an antibodies test just to, check it out? It was like, what you need my business for? And I respect it because, like I said, before I had it, I would probably say the same thing, like, what you need my stuff, But at the same time, going towards your question, how do we contain something that cannot be seen if these people do not have any symptoms and they're walking around? And here's the thing, all I want you to do is just to get a test to see if you ever had it. Because normally, once you have the antibodies for something, you're not going to get any more. So you can have chickenpox.
And that's what they say, but it doesn't apply to this.
Exactly. But if you have the antibodies, maybe we can study this. Maybe we can help some people. But then again, because we don't trust the government, we like, nah, you ain't taking nothing from me.
I don't trust what you're doing with my stuff. We still know that all the breakthroughs in the medical field is because of a woman of color, where
Yeah.
they took her stuff and then made all these breakthroughs. Again, I don't trust you. I
But
don't.
here's the kicker: when people say they don't trust the government, for any woman that says, "Well, I don't trust the government," then I question: have you ever had a child? Unless you kept the umbilical cord and you kept the placenta and all that, they got something of your business to begin with. The average woman doesn't keep it.
I didn't know back then.
Yeah.
Had I been educated and have the views that I have now,
Yeah.
that would have never happened. There would have been a lot of things that I did different.
Yeah.
A lot of things. Again, it's like, what do you do?
But once again, I'm coming from the perspective that I'm actually going through it.
Right.
I go through my time period. I don't know. I passed the 14 day. I'm like, what, on day 16, 17 now? But I'm officially free and I take my test and everything is yay, back to normal again. But at the same time, now I hear there's a new strain and it's stronger. I mean, like, well, and you was hoping that if you had the antibodies, well, guess what? I don't got it no more, girl. Good luck. I hope you don't get it,
Right.
But now it's not even that case. You're wondering if you're going to, it's hard.
And the new strain, now correct me if I'm wrong, it is COVID-19 because that is the 19th strain.
Yes.
So there have been many strains. It just so happens that this particular one is running wild. Yeah.
We have some comments here.
Oh, Cash, you want to read, Cash?
People are eager to get out of the house and do things and will feel it's worth the risk. That's why it's up to our government to shut it down and remove these options for all of our benefit. Then Alethea says government should do the right thing and shut it down. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. It's election time.
So my question is, what do you guys mean by shut it down? The government shutting what down?
I'm thinking that, well, until they comment, I'm assuming that they're talking about closing businesses back up and putting everybody back on lockdown.
Do we mean like completely? I think things should be shut down for a certain period of time completely. Disinfect everything. Again, like it's how do you, even if you do that, you still have asymptomatic people.
But it's crazy because other countries, you had Italy, you had Europe, you had other places that were up there at the charts. We were right neck and neck with them. Now, when you look at the scale, they've plateaued. They're all the way down. We're rising off the charts, So at the end of the day, they're doing something right. Let's just use Italy, for example. They shut down for 3-4 good months. They've lost all types of businesses. People were depressed. All the same things that we've had issues, they've had issues too. But they have results. They're at zero. They said that I was reading yesterday, a couple of days ago, I think, and they said that they had like about 10 cases, the whole 10 new cases.
So wait, Liz Carter said it's COVID-19 because it was discovered in 2019.
I'm not too sure of that. Maybe it's the case, but at the end of the day, I do know it has transformed from the coronavirus, because I know a lot of people, when it first came out, they were looking on the can of Lysol. And they're like, wait, it says it kills coronaviruses. And the coronavirus is just a cumulative of different types of SARS and all that other good stuff mixed in together. But maybe it's actually true what she's saying. I haven't looked that one up.
I haven't. And that's why I was like, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So if that's the correct information, Liz, thank you so much. Alethea, they need to monitor everyone. My job refuses to open back up. So then following that, Alethea, are you happy that the job refuses to open back up, or would you rather go back to work with specific restrictions?
Hard. That's hard because for me, the job that I was working at, you had to get a temperature check. And then everybody had their own office. So everybody's in their office, and then only time you had to wear your mask is if you're walking, you use the restroom or some common area. But in your office, you would take your mask off. Of course, in your own desk, you'd have your Lysol can and your, you know,
Right,
your
right,
things that
right.
you have. But you have to keep your door open just in case somebody had a question or whatever. And a student came in the building, and that she just started walking around, and she literally popped in. She had to be in my office for less than 60 seconds. Like,
Wow.
and then she came. I was like, "Oh, back up," you know. So that's how fast.
So 60 seconds and almost 20 something days later, you and the family are still going through this. And Alethea said, yes, I work remotely anyway, which is that's good. But yeah, this again, like 60 seconds and then look at what you're going through now. I'm pretty sure that your idea of a whole lot of things, like you were stating before, when it comes to this, has really changed. And it seems like you would be more of an advocate for people to get the antibody test. Is that the, yeah.
I mean, I think that, as people, we have to put our own feelings aside to help mankind. I mean, I know we don't trust. I totally get it. What happens to your blood when you go to the dentist? Do you say, "Give me those teeth back," when they drill the hole in your, you know, like, there's so many things that I could talk about of what we do, but there has to be some form of level of trust. And with that being said, if there's anything that we can do to help the next person, I mean, there has to be a way. I know people who refuse. They refuse to. They refuse to wear a mask. They refuse to, and they just act as if everything is normal. And if we initially shut everything down when it all first took place, we wouldn't be in this predicament now.
And then again, like, I'll go, okay. So, all right. So Liz, I wish they would shut everything down. That's a more effective way, to get this to go away. Yes, 3 months would hurt, but it would be okay. And Liz, more beneficial than dealing with this for the next 8 months, which is true. I would rather shut down and struggle a little bit or for a couple of months, and then when I'm able to reemerge, I'm straight, versus dipping in and out, and you could do this, you can't do that, wear this, relying on other people, and then people are losing their lives. Again, talking to you, you know, you and I have our meetings before we do our podcast, you know, prepping either throughout the week and specifically for that day, but I've heard your voice be different. Your energy level is very low. Like, you can tell this really took a toll on you mentally. The conversations that you and I used to have, I am now today hearing you differently. And and obviously that's okay. There's no judgment, but it's just like, wow, for a virus to be able to hit you on a mental and emotional level like that, where you're advocating for things that you may not have advocated for before because of what you and your family are going through. So I know you must have been sick. Like, you must have been.
You back?
No, you went out.
Oh, I seen you, and then you froze.
Ow. Oh, sorry, people. So did you not? So basically, it was me saying, I'm watching what you've been going through, and it's taken a toll, and I'm noticing it mentally on you.
Yeah. No, it's affected every aspect of my own sanity. Shoot, from A to Z, and then of course, you know, putting myself to the side, and then trying to, you know, look out for my family. That's my family, you know, and if they're sick, you know, that's who holds you down when you're not feeling well, you know, your kids and your husband and your mom or whoever, you know. At the end of the day, I definitely it's been rough. I can say this: it has definitely put in my mindset that once I'm better, to focus always on my health. A lot of times we put it to the side because we get wrapped up in today's life and we're doing our things, but health is so important.
And
Because
when
guess
you
what?
say health, what is that? What does health look like to you?
So one, to lose, I personally have to lose weight because I know that when you are over a certain amount of weight and your body mass index is a certain,
Or underweight.
or underweight, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that does affect you. You know, I have to, you know, me being in the military, you know, they train you, whatever, but I have to get back into that, watching what I'm eating, not eating too much sugar, you know, always taking my vitamins and just doing the right thing, because it does get out of sight, out of mind, you know, to a
Right.
point where you're just kind of like, I'm free, I'm living my life, and you know, you're just having big fun. But all jokes aside, I used to be a smoker, you know, and then now this thing here, like, don't you dare pick up nothing. I wish you would pick up a cigar. As, oh, I'm just having a night. No, you're not having no nice time. Sit your ass down. This is what it taught me. It taught me to sit my ass down and shut the hell up.
Right.
And humble myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we have 5 more minutes left, guys. I don't know if the audience has anything you guys want to say or anything else you want to say and like leave people with. And also, wait, thank you for coming out and actually telling your story. Because I know things like this are not always easy for everyone. And I do know there's like, it's like the stigma of, oh, you're sick, you got the COVID, you know what I mean? So again, like, thank you for that. I appreciate it, because there's a lot about this virus that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And how it really affected people.
Well, I just want to say thank you for my friends and family and just people who are just, who I don't know, just checking in like, hey, are you okay? In regards to coming out, only person that I'm concerned about their viewpoint is my husband and my 3 kids and my mom, because she lives with me. You know, I can have to get my mama, but at the end of the day, those are my riders. You know, if you wasn't riding with me after this, before this, or what, I'm sorry, but that, you know, should have caught me a long time ago. But I want to leave people with this: at the end of the day, regardless of what your viewpoint is, it's all a Hillary hoax. It's the Russians created this COVID. Whatever your viewpoint is, just keep your health up. You know, because not until you're actually sitting on your ass, not able to do anything, you know, that's how it humbles you, because you do feel invincible. You do feel like you're just going along, living your life or whatever. And then not when you're not able to do anything. We watched, you was there when my father died. We watched my father die. And this is a strong man, strong man. Regardless of all the different things he went through, he was on his ass. And not until you see somebody take their last breath do you realize how valuable life is, you know. And at the end of the day, we got, as a people collectively, we got to do better to make sure that we're not putting ourselves out there so that we can be acceptable, because it shows me how high my immune system was, because there's people in my house, like I said, who are okay.
Right.
You know?
I don't think I would be able to withstand it. You and I talked. First of all, I'm very, petite. So I fart off 5 pounds and then that's it. My stomach eats my back. Like, it is what it is. I have no extra anything to me. So when I go down very, very quickly, because there's no reserve system, no reserve tank to help push me along. Praying for the fam and Liz. My dad was just released from COVID ward in Miami. Prayed into exhaustion in the past week and a half. I know it's hard on all of us, but together we will not be defeated. Wow.
I'm sorry about that. Wow.
Yeah. Well, he was released.
That's good. Yeah.
So that's good. I'm sure it was like exhausting for everyone. We had our incident with my dad recently, and then right after that, like 2 weeks later, after him getting home from Westchester, COVID hit. So like, again, for me, it's like I don't want to be around people like that. I never really went out anyway like that. It's just, my mind is focused on other things. But you know, you really do become more vigilant of who else you're around and how they can be affected, even though you can't be.
And this time also makes you just sit kind of and appreciate and love your family a little bit more. I mean, you only, regardless of what a person believes in, you know, oh, I believe in reincarnation. Well, guess what? You're not gonna come back as Ty or Kia, and you ain't
Right,
gonna
right,
either.
right.
So no matter what you believe in, this body will eventually perish, and you only have one life as that individual. So with that being said, you know, you have to love on your family. You know, try to mend relationships and different things because you definitely don't know when your last day will come. It could hit you, it could hit you any day. I promise you, prior to this podcast, I must have died about 4 or 5 different times this week. Like, oh my God, I'm dying.
I'm really like, this really shook you. I'm watching this unfold today.
Yeah.
Like I'm really watching this unfold. It really shook you.
Yeah.
And then that makes me even more nervous because, like, you know, we look at our family members, people that we know, and it's like, you know, that strength. And not saying that you're weak, you know, you got sick. That's just the way things happen with us. But to see this of you, to see your energy down, to see this is like, it's upsetting.
Oh,
It's
but I
upsetting.
love you.
I love you, but I'm glad that you're here and you're able to still run your mouth with me and everyone. That ain't stopped you.
Yeah, right. I say a prayer before I get on the podcast. Like,
A lot of coffee, or you know, water, or the ginger candies, and
yes,
uh,
yes, yes.
getting it together, the preparations.
But thank you guys. Thank you for listening and tuning in. And like I said, I always wanted to be able to give information where I can. Make sure that you go to cdc.gov. They seem to be had canned by Trump. Trump didn't want them to put out too much information, but the website is filled with information. Talk to people who've been affected, still going through it. Make sure that you're eating healthy. Eat as organic as possible if you can. Take your vitamins and all the good stuff. You know, even though we don't per se have a set cure, there are things that we can do to just boost our own immune systems. So just do that and just
And don't wait too long to reach out to someone if you're not feeling well.
That's true. And
Watch
just be
signs.
mindful and yeah, be mindful, stay in the house if you can. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. You know, but we will, like Liz say, we're gonna get through this together. And when it's all good, maybe we'll go live. We'll be traveling somewhere like only one could wish, right?
Mothers Unfiltered on a vacay.
Yes, yes. But thank you. Any last words, Ty, before we go?
No, just thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Another Sunday. Kia, thank you again for inviting me to be your co-host. I feel very blessed and honored. And I hope you continue to get better. And everyone, if you can make it to the YouTube page, like, share, subscribe. Mothers Unfiltered on YouTube. And thank you.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.